Hi, I'm Alan Collinge, and I am running for President of the United States. If you have student loans, I am your guy. Biden is faking it. Trump is terrible. I will actually cancel student loans. I will erase and replace the federal student loan program. So please tell everyone you know with student loans about this campaign. You'll be glad you did. What do you have to lose except for your student loans? Thank you. Hey, everybody, what's happening? I'm trying to do these little 30-second spots before I start my live streams just so I can easily clip them later on YouTube. So thanks for bearing with me on that. Happy Sunday, everyone. It is May 19th. I hope everybody is doing well out there in the world. Much going on in this universe of student loans right now. I actually have some very good news to share. So we've been talking about this very dangerous legislation from the FAA, Senator Maria Cantwell. Very dangerous legislation where they snuck language in that would have killed the secretary's ability to cancel loans. It would have greatly increased the borrowing limits for undergrads to over $100,000 for well, initially it was going to be for pilots, but it could have been expanded to many, many other loans. I'm very happy to report, ladies and gentlemen, and I reported the opposite of this last Sunday, so I apologize, but I came to find out that, in fact, that very dangerous language was as sneakily as it was put in the bill, it was similarly sneakily taken out of the bill before the Senate passed it. So this is S 1939. So crisis averted. And thanks to everybody who helped us raise a very public and very loud stink about that. The bad guys are out there, guys, particularly in Washington, D.C. I suspect that we will see tricks like this again and again because hopefully, our group started the whole concept of canceling student loans by executive order. That whole proposal started on this group with our petition, change.org/cancel student loans. Sign it if you haven't. That started the entire national conversation. It was based on language in the Higher Education Act, which gives the secretary very broad, unambiguous authority to cancel student loans. So Joe Biden didn't even use that law in his previous efforts, which really goes to show that what I said earlier, Biden is faking it. Biden doesn't want to cancel student loans. The Democrats don't want to cancel student loans. And whether you are a Democrat or a Republican, by the way, you're very welcome on this group, studentloanjustice.org. And I hope that you will spread the word about this group. And you're very obviously welcome to support my campaign. So maybe a little bit more about the presidential campaign. The campaign's doing okay, but the key to winning with this campaign, and I truly believe, I can win the whole thing. With 40 million distressed student loan borrowers out there, that really puts us in the running for some very big time results. But whatever your thoughts are, it's very important that you realize whatever your political stripes are, I think that you can live with my agenda. So I'm not taking too many risks beyond the student loan issue. I'm talking about taxing the rich. Very important. I'm talking about trimming spending. With the national debt of 32 trillion, kind of got to do that. I'm talking about both liberal and conservative things. Standing up to China, very important. Stopping internet surveillance, data sharing, censorship. I think everybody should be able to agree on that. So whatever your political stripes are, if you have student loans, the key to this entire campaign, ladies and gentlemen, is that between now and November, everyone with student loans is made at least aware of our campaign. If they're at least made aware of it and they go to the website, collinsforpresident.com, and they look at my agenda, I think they will say, I can live with that. The key point is whether people are willing to vote for a third-party independent candidate. I'm going to have a write-in campaign. That's just the way that's going to go. You're going to have to write me in. So we're couching that as being a feature rather than a bug. I know a lot of people out there don't trust the elections. And what better way is there to force some analog into a digital election than by writing in a candidate's name and forcing at least some sort of human interaction with that voting process. And that's a larger issue. But certainly, bring your pen to the polls is going to be a key part of our campaign. But the first point is the most important point, guys. Word of mouth is how this campaign is going to go. It is absolutely critical. The only way that we're going to get any oxygen is by normal people with student loans telling everybody else that they know with student loans about my campaign. If we can get that initial surge, I think that there's much in my campaign, other parts of my campaign that are very attractive, regardless of your political stripes. Stuff that both sides can, if not agree on, at least a compromise in the middle. And I think that's kind of where I am on most other issues. So the campaign is going okay. It could go better. The thing that will make it go better is what I just said. Tell everyone you know with student loans about my campaign. It's just that important. Going forward, we're going to have to be doing a lot of work to make sure that our votes, our write-in votes across the country, will actually count in the states where they are cast. And believe it or not, that's actually a thing. So we're going to be looking into that, working on that much more heavily going forward. But I will just, for the third time, just repeat, please, if you have student loans, tell everyone you know with student loans about my campaign. That is absolutely and actually, and the only thing that we need to happen in order to really make this go. Finally, I will only say, no matter what you think my chances are, I know I can win. But whatever you think my chances are, it's almost not important, guys. We can get the student loan problem solved before the election. If this campaign, can mount enough pressure on both parties to make them solve this before the election rather than after the election. Right now, first of all, the Republicans are just terrible. They're essentially evil. The Democrats are faking it. As I said, Biden is trying to string us out for yet a third election. First election, the presidential, the midterms, second election. They're trying to string us out, guys. I mean, come on. Fool us once, fool us twice, fool us a third time? Yeah, I don't think so, guys. Just be smarter than that, please. So tonight, I want to talk briefly about, and I'm writing an article on this right now, 5 very important facts that are being misreported, to be gentle, in the media about us. By the way, if you have any questions or comments, and I can see them on Twitter, I will certainly respond to them if I can see them after this brief presentation. So these are the 5 big lies that are being told against us by the swamp. And you need to understand they are easily proven to be the lies that they are. And so they are very easily disproven. And I'm going to share my screen with you here for a minute, just so you can see. So number 1, these are misconceptions. When you even mention student loans to most people who usually don't have them, the first thing they think of is young people, and maybe even liberal people, like young liberal college students, like the protesters that we're hearing about at Columbia University, other places right now. That is the stereotype. That is how we are viewed. But ladies and gentlemen, I am here to tell you both of those things, that student loan borrowers are young and that they are liberal, is completely false. Many years of data, and I looked at the most recent data from the Department of Education. As I said, I'm writing this up in an article right now. Oh, not right now. Right after this live stream, I'll probably publish it tomorrow morning, just to get a nice nice start. And I hope you'll help me launch the article when I do publish it. Older people outnumber younger people with student loans. So we broke this story like 4 years ago in 2020. Older people outnumber younger people with student loans. And what's more, they owe something like between 150 and 300% more. So people over the age of 35 outnumber people under the age of 35 with student loans. That's true. People over the age of 50 outnumber people under the age of 25 with student loans. And in that second case, the 50 versus 25, the over 50s owe 300% more on average. This is not a younger person's problem. I mean, it is. It's an American problem, but it's more an older person's problem than a younger person's problem. So number two, yeah, people assume that everybody with student loans are a bunch of liberal, bleeding, blue no matter who, protesty, hippie snowflakes. And I am here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that's absolutely false. It's just not true. If you look at many years or even decades worth of Pew, Gallup polling research, you'll see that somewhere between 50 and 70% of people who went to college, so that's student loan borrowers and non-borrowers both, it's people who graduated, who didn't graduate, people who went to college, between 50 and 70% of them identify politically as being either Republican or independent. So half or even as low as 30% are identified as being Democrats. So that's another very big lie being told against us. And you don't see it overtly, but it's just kind of baked into all the propaganda that we see. If you haven't been able to tell, the student loan issue has become a bipartisan football where the Republicans are wearing the black hats. If you're a student loan borrower, the Republicans wear the black hats, the Democrats wear the white hats. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that's all nonsense. They're both parties are against us. But this is the stereotype that hurts us badly, particularly among a conservative crowd. And it's a lie. It's a blatant lie. Student loan borrowers do not tend to be young. They do not tend to be liberal. They tend to be older, and they tend to be either Republican or independent. Like, it's almost like we're living in a bizarro world, right? Where the media is trying to convince us of the opposite of what is true. So, and I can back all of those up. If you go to our Medium channel, Student Loan Justice at medium.com, you will see articles with headlines saying exactly what I say on this list here. And you can look at the data for yourself. I don't lie. The strongest point of this group's whole existence is the quality of our research. We've never been shown to be wrong. We've never been wrong. And hopefully, knock on wood, we never will be wrong. So the third big lie that's out there, and this is maybe number 5, but again, this gets back to the partisan thing. People seem to just assume that, oh, you're talking about student loan debt. Oh, you're talking about those people from Massachusetts, like these coastal elites, right? These people in Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington, and San Francisco, California. The opposite is true, ladies and gentlemen. The worst hurt states are not these blue coastal elite states. If you look at the average student loan debt per borrower versus the average earnings in that state, what you find is that by far the worst hurt states it's the entire South, from Virginia down to Florida, from Missouri down to Texas, and everything in between. It's Alabama, it's North South Carolina, it's Tennessee, it's Mississippi, it's West Virginia, obviously, it's Oklahoma. It's the entire South, ladies and gentlemen. Missouri is one of the worst hurt states. Maryland is absolutely terrible. It's the South. It is the South. Oh, Georgia. Georgia is the worst hurt state. And even if you don't count it against wages, states like Georgia and South Carolina, if you only look at the average student loan debt, Maryland, Georgia, South Carolina, those are like the three worst in the country. Is that right? North Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Maryland. Those, just the average student loan debt is far, far, far higher than all other states, in fact. So the lies are fast and furious. The biggest lies being told against us, ladies and gentlemen, are number one, that canceling student loans will cost the taxpayers. Number four, the opposite is true. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not lying. The opposite is true. Cancellation will not cost the taxpayers. The people who are saying that are lying through their teeth. And let me just take you through that just briefly. First of all, student loan borrowers have paid back the government, the taxpayers. The taxpayers lend out about $90 billion a year. The taxpayers get back about $85 billion a year in payments from the borrowers. And remember, in 1965, when they rolled out the federal student loan program through the Higher Education Act, President LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, declared that the loans would be free of interest. Today, $100 billion in interest, which is essentially profit for the taxpayer, clicks off on our ass. When people say that canceling student loans are a cost to the taxpayers, what they're actually saying is that canceling student loans, writing off unrealized profits to the taxpayer, is an actual cost to the taxpayers. And ladies and gentlemen, that's a bald-faced lie. It's a lie. It's accounting fraud on a par that would make Enron executives envious. Like, think about it this way, okay? Say you buy a lottery ticket for $1. You scratch the ticket's a complete loser, you win nothing. You certainly don't win the $1 million top prize that you were hoping and expecting to win. Now, how much did that lottery ticket cost you? Did that ticket cost you $1? Or did that ticket actually cost you $1 million? Well, I think most people would say that first thing. It would cost $1. If you tried to write off that lottery ticket as a cost on your taxes for $1 million, you would go to prison. So to say that canceling student loans is a cost to the taxpayers is a complete lie. It is our opposition blatantly misleading the public and counting on their pre-existing preconceived notions in their head about these ne'er-do-well, scofflaw, good-for-nothing, deadbeat student loan borrowers. This is the game that's being played on us, guys, and it's being played very successfully because our opponents have a lot of money. They have a lot of control of the media. They've got a lot of sycophants, tools, PR firms, and others here on Twitter and on Facebook and in the internet, many other places. And they spend a lot of time and money spinning this lie against us. It just makes blood shoot out of my eyes. It should make you angry also. And I can tell you that you need to be helping us fight this disinformation. So the fifth big lie, and this is really probably number two. So number four is probably number one. Costing the taxpayers is probably the biggest lie. But right up there is the current lie right now that is being seeded against us. And that lie is that canceling student loans will largely benefit the wealthy. Again, this is just an outrageous, insult my intelligence and yours too, lie. Is a fucking lie. Pardon my French. But we're seeing these academic, and I hate to say this, but I just have to say it. Pardon my French in advance. These academic economists, these people are essentially whores with graphs. So I'm talking about people like Adam Looney. I'm talking about people like Kent Smetters. And both of those guys, those are the two worst, by the way. And both of those guys had very significant careers at the Treasury Department before going to academia. Both of those guys are making these outrageous claims that student loan cancellation costs the taxpayers and that it will benefit the wealthy. Student loan cancellation will not benefit the wealthy. And again, go to studentloanjustice.medium.com. You can see the article for yourself. I've written several at this point. First of all, the 70% of student loan borrowers are in the bottom 80th percentile in income. Only about 25% or so of student loan borrowers are in the highest quintile of income. That is roughly $100,000 a year or more. So it is absolutely false to say that student loan cancellation will largely benefit the wealthy. And remember, here is the trick that Kent Smetters is playing, for example. He's saying, look at these people who they've been out of college for 20 or 25 years. And then he looks at the chart and says, okay, so for that age group, which is like the prime earning age for a human being, which is in your mid to late 40s, I believe, he uses that income to say that these student loan borrowers who are getting their student loans canceled, who've had the loans for 20 or 25 years, they earn the average. Therefore, they earn on average, he was talking about like a married couple of student loan borrowers making $300,000 a year. And guys, the blatant academic fraud inherent in that comment is just overwhelmingly obvious if you think about it for a minute. So let's think about it for a minute, shall we? If you are 40, 50 years old, you've had student loans for 20, 25 years, and you have not been able to pay your student loans off like years ago, you do not earn $300,000 a year. Something in your life, your income, something, you are financially distressed. You don't earn what Kent Smetters says that you earn. People who actually earn $300,000 a year, they pay their student loans off years or decades ago. They don't have the loans. So this is just one example of the just blatant academic dishonesty that is being used by, and these people are whores. You know, their funders want them to write something, and so they twist the numbers, they cherry pick the data, they make absolutely asinine assumptions like Kent Smetters did to make these outrageous claims. And in both of these cases, Adam Looney did the same thing, saying that student loan cancellation will benefit the wealthy. Same exact games that he is playing. And this is very dangerous, guys, because our opposition picks up their nonsense, garbage, junk research, and they spread it like wildfire. I mean, these are very well organized campaigns, and they are all based on the academically fraudulent research of the most notorious being Kent Smetters, University of Pennsylvania, and Adam Looney, Looney, University of Utah, I believe. Lies, ladies and gentlemen, all lies. Like, can you imagine how the student loan problem, how the national conversation, the public conversation around the student loan problem would be different if everybody knew these 5 things? that this is an older person's problem. The most student loan borrowers are either conservative or independent. That the worst hurt states are the South, not Massachusetts or San Francisco or California or Washington or Oregon. That the taxpayers have made a massive profit on the student loan program, that it's not only is it not a cost. This is one final very important point I want you to think about. Because the government has actually made its money back on federal student loans, that is tantamount to saying that the federal government, the taxpayers, they have managed to get 20, 50, 80 million of our citizens college educated for free. Didn't cost the taxpayers a dime. That's a very good deal. Canceling the profit that is now hanging over our heads, the predatory profit, it costs nothing. Our opposition is insisting that the federal government make a profit on student loans, and the federal government has never made a profit on anything. And the fifth thing, that these are not rich people that are going to benefit. These are poor, struggling people. 85% of all student loan borrowers were underwater on their loans before COVID. Wealthy people, they don't get underwater on their loans. They don't get behind on their student loans. So can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, how if everybody knew these facts, which are true, can you imagine in what a better situation we student loan borrowers would be in? It's all a matter of us telling the truth. That's it. So I really hope that something I said to you tonight gets through. I'm going to look quickly for your comments on Twitter. If I see any questions or comments, I will very happily respond to them. I almost can never see them, though. Looks like we have a couple comments here tonight that I can see. So Progress for the Win says, I'm curious, how many fellow student loan justice members are also participating in the protest on May 22nd with Strike Debt? I really couldn't tell you. I have no idea. We are completely separate from Strike Debt, I should say, for very good reason that I won't get into now. I will maybe say that student loans are going away. The entire lending program is vanishing into a mist of illegitimacy. 80% of all federal student loan borrowers are not making payments today. And that's not a strike. It's not even a protest. It's the end of the federal student loan program. And I should say, it's just happening. Call it what you want, but it's not a strike. It's very dangerous for us, ladies and gentlemen, because we are the only group in the country who've been fighting for the return of bankruptcy protections at the very top of our list for the entire 20 years that we've been around. None of the other groups are fighting for this. And frankly, I find that very suspicious. What the student debt collection industry wants more than anything is for the loans to be turned back on and bankruptcy to remain gone from the loans. That's happening, guys. The lending system is vanishing into illegitimacy. But guys, this could get very ugly as long as we don't have the leverage of bankruptcy rights back on our side, which is yet another reason why you need to be supporting my campaign. I'm telling you guys, it's so important that we be given some battle armor in this fight, like what the founding fathers called for in the Constitution when they called for uniform bankruptcy laws. We are not afforded uniformity under the bankruptcy laws. We're not afforded equal protection under the bankruptcy laws. Student loans are unconstitutional, guys. We've got to get the leverage of bankruptcy back. It is the core of the entire student loan problem. I would say be loud about it or be quiet about it. The way this problem is and has shown itself to be over the 20 years that I've been doing this is that we're not a naturally protesty type of crowd. Debt is a very personal issue. People typically suffer in silence over the whole thing. And so any protest, and we've protested in Washington, D.C. 30 or 40 times at this point. You know, what we need everybody fighting this battle. Of that, there is no doubt. It is our biggest weakness, the sort of quiet desperation that we see student loan borrowers with. It does you no good. It does us no good. We need you fighting with us. If you forget everything I say tonight, remember, go to our website, studentloanjustice.org. Look up. We do daily actions every day. It's mostly Twitter stuff. Pretty simple stuff. But if you get into the habit of doing those daily actions every single day, it is by far the most efficient, effective use of your time. So just please do that. Okay, guys, I'm running a little bit over on time. I'm sorry. But maybe I will finally say, please donate if you can. I have to raise money both for student loan justice, which is really for me personally. These are personal gifts. So if you go to studentloanjustice.org/donate and make a personal gift at this time, it would be exceedingly helpful. We're down to almost nothing in our operating reserves. Tell everybody you know about Collinge for president. Please support that campaign if you can possibly do it. Very helpful. The very last thing I'll say tonight is our thoughts and our prayers are with Martha Monroe tonight in New Jersey. Martha's in the hospital. Martha is just a fantastic supporter. She is she is the most inspirational member of Student Loan Justice, I will say. She has a very, very challenging disease, ALS. She's unable to speak or walk or talk or even eat without a feeding tube. Martha does our daily actions. She is leading our New Jersey State chapter. She, in fact, provided me with this suit so I can look not terrible as I run for president. Martha, we love you. Martha's in the hospital right now. Her daughter is telling us, telling people, don't overwhelm Martha with text messages and phone messages and stuff. She's focusing on her health right now. But I just want to say, Martha, if you are watching this, you know we love you and you are the encouragement, the inspiration for this group. And everybody could benefit just by knowing about your strength. And so get well. We love you. I'll be back next Sunday, guys. I hope something I've said tonight has inspired you to finally take the bull by the horns. We are the strongest. We are the oldest, largest, first, only true grassroots group fighting this battle. I hope you'll find some encouragement and some inspiration, something I've said tonight, that you will help us fight the battle. We need you. We have the strongest muscle. We've got on paper, we have 1.3 million people on this group between this group and our petition, everybody who signed, our Facebook group, etc. We have the strongest muscle in the country to flex. We will have this problem solved when you help us flex it. You have no idea how important you are, how important you could be and should be for this battle. It all gets easier when you help. So keep that in mind. Have a great week, everybody. Good luck. Godspeed doing our daily actions. Telling everybody you know with student loans about my campaign. God bless. And God bless America.